What's up guys, Blitz here today bringing you another video. In today's video, I want to talk about something I've been wondering if Square Enix even has the balls to do, those cowards. Last night I was researching some videos on best mods to play Final Fantasy IX on PC. The Maguri mod is what came up often and it's freaking amazing. Seriously, they put some extra work that Square Enix did not or could not do with the remastered titles. But they went in and used AI upscaling to redo the background textures and character models of the game, fine-tuned with the AI. All this stuff is insane. It looks absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to see more projects utilize this technology for other old school games. But while I was researching this on a particular video, shoutouts to Austin SV, Austin mentioned that with this mod, all the original functions of the game would still work. The analog, the menu settings, and the two-player mode, which I completely forgot that it had. Final Fantasy IX was one of the few that had that feature where you could plug in a second controller and have a friend control two other party members. Final Fantasies 4, 5, and 6 were the others to feature this type of function in their games as well on the SNES. And it got me thinking, what if they brought this feature of co-op back to Final Fantasy IX Remake? Obviously, a couch co-op with action RPGs nowadays wouldn't really work too well with how the camera functions, and we definitely don't want to do any split screen. That would look absolutely horrible and confusing altogether. But I could see an online version where we can join in other players' games while choosing who we want to control. I pitched this idea a lot for Final Fantasy VII Remake's future releases, but I imagine it could function in the same way as Borderlands did, where the story takes place wherever the host is. But for Final Fantasy, we could just utilize the items and equipment that one host has equipped in their save file. This way you can't really boost the game with your own save file and combining items together. When me and my friends were kids, we would often play multiplayer games together, but really, when we would play RPGs, we just watch each other or take turns in different sections of the game. I really wish we knew about Final Fantasy IX's two-player mode back then. I mean, I didn't find out about that until a few months ago. A viewer had mentioned it in one of my Final Fantasy VII Remake co-op wishlist videos, so shoutouts to them. But we seriously could have enjoyed Final Fantasy IX even more when we had more than one person present while we were hanging out. I called him the other day to tell him about this and he couldn't believe me. He thought I was lying. I know a lot of fans worry that single-player elements would possibly get ruined by the co-op implementation, but there are many games which have both coexist and be separate entities from each other just fine. I mean, seriously guys, if you don't want to play co-op, just don't select the mode and play single-player by yourself. I mean, if that mode does exist in the future at least. I'm just trying to pose a question about it being an optional feature. It's not something that I consider would force us all to have to play together, but of course there are those who lash out in the comments whenever I bring this up, saying how it's going to ruin the game, introduce pay-to-win mechanics, and force them to buddy up with random people because they're stuck in a certain part. And then there are the sad people who say they have no friends and this mode would taunt them. I mean, jeez guys, we could play together on stream after beating the game. It'll be fun. I promise guys, we'll rotate people out and play together. So hear me out. If co-op was an optional feature in Final Fantasy IX Remake or Final Fantasy VII Remake in the future, and I mean completely optional, and you can still play the game solo if you wanted to, how would you guys feel about that? For an action RPG style game, I think this could be some crazy fun, and I'm hoping that with modding capabilities, we're able to somehow even attempt this when Final Fantasy VII Remake comes to PC in a few months. But realistically, that will take a very long time, I imagine, for a modder to program. But I'll gladly pay a mod team, and we can sell the idea and mechanic to Square Enix later on. I doubt it, but hopefully. Wishful thinking. Final Fantasy IX has a lot of dedicated fans. I would imagine a few of them have made returns back to the channel since last week when we made our first video covering the leak. The recommended tab has honestly spoiled a lot of us, because only 38.1% of people that watch and enjoy the content on this channel are currently subscribed. Guys, if you love Final Fantasy IX videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on more we got coming your way, guys. We're almost at 700 followers on Twitch, so head over to the comments and find a link to our Twitch channel. Follow us there so you don't miss out on any upcoming crazy giveaways we have lined up for you all, and possibly a Final Fantasy IX playthrough coming very soon. Final Fantasy has always been about a group of friends teaming up to take down evil and restore order to the best of their abilities. So imagine Square allowing us to go on that very same adventure with our actual friends and share these same experiences together. I think that'd be so damn fun, and we could even go a step further beyond that and say that co-op is not a feature you unlock until you complete the game one time on your own. Then the co-op mode is much more difficult, providing a solid challenge to go through, with its own customized difficulty to fit the nature of what you would be dealing with. enhanced enemies, more boss mechanics, limited items, etc. All these things could provide a more unique aspect of playing through the game a second or third time around. I don't know if they would allow 4-player co-op, but taking it to that level is something I would gladly run headfirst into. Just imagine stun-locking an enemy with Vivi and then having Steiner, Freya, and Zidane jump squatting an enemy in a crazy combo action or combo-like setting. Yuffie and Sonon's synergy has some sick implementation for team combos, so if they could expand on this even more, who knows how far Square games can go from here on out. I mean, it's been a long time coming with Final Fantasy XIII's system to Final Fantasy XV. Each release, the combat is just continuing to get better and better. And finally, with Remake, recently, in my opinion, is the best combat system of any Square Enix game. Yes, even beating out Kingdom Hearts. The future games have me excited to see what's to come, and I hope you guys are as well. This, of course, is if Final Fantasy IX goes full-on action combat, in which case, I'm very excited for either way, because as the years go on, Square has decided to hire combat specialists and continue to push that bar with each release. An action RPG type of combat would promote and bring lots more new fans into the mix, so I can totally see them going that route because they know at the end of the day, even if the OG turn-based style veterans don't like action RPG, they still will buy it and play it because they like the story, they like the characters, so it's a sort of a win-win for them. As long as it's available on a console that they all have access to, of course. And that wraps it up for this video, guys. Final Fantasy IX Remake has been trending a lot recently, and I seriously want to play the original very soon for you guys. It's been so long since I have last played it, almost going on like 6 or more years. I think the last time I played it was when the PlayStation 1 classics were a thing, and they dropped Final Fantasy IX on the PS3 for us to enjoy. Yeah, actually, I remember using a save file editor to convert my PS1 file on PC to play the PS3 version and not lose my save data. It's going to be cool in the upcoming months to see more Final Fantasy IX fans get into this stuff and a bunch of newcomers along the way. Final Fantasy IX is one of the popular titles within the franchise, and it did a lot for the series by going back to the medieval roots, sort of, and giving us a small taste of some actual fantasy, but not for the final time. Literally. This is the 9th out of like 16 now. I seriously can't wait to play Moguri mod of Final Fantasy IX on PC soon for you guys. I'd love to, of course, play the PS4 version to get some trophies, but the fact that the Moguri mod actually has modded and updated backgrounds to insane quality has your boy hella excited to see what's to come. I will be making a video on how you guys could install it for yourselves too, so just in case, if you guys really enjoy my playthrough of it, we can also play it alongside of each other as long as you have a decent graphics card, because these resolutions are crazy high textures. But I think most of you guys will have all of that covered. Out of the main characters, including villains and NPCs, who's your favorite in Final Fantasy IX and why? What kind of character arcs are you hoping to see in Final Fantasy IX Remake? Will Kuja's crotch be censored? Who knows what Sony will make Square do? Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy videos are coming your way and you won't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.